All right, hello everyone. Today we're going to be going over the solving systems using matrices test review. So to jump on in, it wants for these first three questions to solve the following systems of equations using matrices. So in order to first solve this, we need to make the actual matrix. And so looking at number 1, I notice I have an x variable, I have a y variable, and I have a z variable. So even though I don't have x, y, and z in every single equation, I am still going to have a column for each in my matrix. I'm going to have an x column, a y column, a z column, and then lastly that we have one for our solution. So we're going to have 3 rows because we have 1, 2, 3 equations. So looking at my first equation, I have a 1x. I do not have a y, so we're going to put that placeholder of 0. 3z, and my answer is 12. Moving on, I have a 2x, and then there is no y or z in this equation, and then my answer is 6. Lastly, I have no x. I do have a 2y. And then I do not have a z, and we equal -1. So a lot of zeros in this, but we can still make it happen. So now going over to my calculator, remember we're going to go second x to the -1. And then we're going to go over to math, and remember we want option B, we want RREF. So we're going to go up and choose option B. In order to put in my matrix, remember we do alpha zoom. And for this one, we want a 3 by 4 matrix because we have 3 rows, 4 columns. And then I'm just going to start typing in my numbers. So 1, we leave that as 0, 3, 12, and then 2, and then those 2 stay zeros, 6. We had a 2 here, and then lastly a -1. So now that I have my matrix typed in, I can just go ahead and hit enter. And so remember, this is x, y, and z, and so that means x equals 3, y equals -0.5, and z is equal to 3. All right, now let's look at number 2. So number 2, I have x, y, and z again. So I'm going to have 4 columns because 3 variables plus 1 for my solution. And then once again, I have 3 equations. So this is going to be a 3 by 4 matrix again. But from the looks of it, probably a few less zeros. So I'm going to go ahead and write my matrix out. For my first equation, I have x equals 1, y equals 1, z equals 1, and then that answer is 6. On my second equation, I don't have an x, so we're going to put a 0 there. I have a 2y, 5z, answer of -4. And then for my final equation, I have a 2x, 5y, a -1z, and an answer of 27. So same thing, we're going to go over to our calculator, second x to the -1, math, option B. Put in my matrix, alpha zoom, and don't need to change that from last time, so plug that on in, and let's put in the numbers. Four, 2, 5, -1, and 27. And I get an answer of x equals 5, y equals 3, and z equals -2. So let's scroll down a little bit to look at number 3. And again, we're going to use the same approach, so we still have x, y, and z. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, 1, 2, 3 equations. So this will be, once again, a 3 by 4 matrix. So 6x negative 5y, 2z, and we equal 3. And then 2x, 1y, negative 4z equals 5. 3x, negative 3y, 1z equals negative 1. So let's do this one more time. Again, we want option B for our REF. We want a 3 by 4 matrix. And then plug in the numbers. So negative 5, 2, 3, and then next row we had 2, 1, negative 4, and 5. And then on our last row we had 3, negative 3, 1, and negative 1. So for this one we get x equals 4, y equals 5, and z is equal to a positive 2. So moving on to the next section for 4, 5, and 6, it wants us to identify the matrix element in each matrix below. So this is our matrix for number 4. It wants us to find the element A23. So remember our first number, that is the row, and our second number is the column. So these are rows. We have row 1, row 2, row 3, columns 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if I want A23, so that 2 is for row 2, third column, I'm going to have an answer of 1, which is right here. Same thing on number 5. We have A31, and so we're going to have row 3, column 1, and so that would be right here. My answer would be 0. And then on number 6, again, same thing, except we have A24, so that means row 2, and then column 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so that would be right here, and that is an answer of 7. So let's go ahead and flip over to the back. And so these are word problems similar to what we did on topic 3-6. So if you need to go back and look at something, please go back and look at that worksheet. Number 7 says, after heavy rains in Fort Worth, Main Street floods. The city has 3 pumps, X, Y, and Z, are used to pump water from the flooded underpass. When all 3 pumps are used, so X, Y, and Z are used, 10,000 gallons per hour may be pumped. When X and Y are running, 5,400 gallons per hour may be pumped. When X and Z are running, 8,600 gallons can be pumped. And so it wants us to just write a system of equations. We don't have to solve this, but we could if we needed to. So I have the 3 variables, and then I'm going to have a solution. So this is going to have 4 columns, and then we're going to see how many equations we can make. So this first one says when all 3 are used, so when X, Y, and Z. So that would be 1 for, actually, let's write the equations, not the matrix. My apologies, guys. So when X plus Y plus Z, when all 3 of these are being used, it said 10,000 gallons an hour. So that means that our capacity is 10,000. Our answer is 10,000 when all 3 are used. When X and Y are running, so that would be just X plus Y. That is 5,400. That is our capacity, is 5,400. And then it says when X and Z, so that would be X plus Z. It says that is equal to 8,600 gallons an hour. So this is my system of equations. We could turn it into a matrix if we needed to, but for this problem, we don't necessarily have to. All right, let's scroll down a little bit and look at number 8. It says the number of 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders signed up for the talent show is 50. There are 4 more 4th graders than 3rd graders, and then the total number of 5th graders is 10 more than the 3rd and 4th graders combined. And then it tells us to use X for 3rd grade, Y for 4th grade, and Z for 5th grade. So again, all we have to do is write a system of equations for this one. And so the easiest one is to use the total. Anytime you see a total, you can make an equation out of it. So it's saying 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade combined is 50 for the talent show. So that would be X plus Y plus Z equals 50. And then it says there are 4 more 4th graders than 3rd graders. So we could say that X, 3rd grade, plus 4 more kiddos, that would equal 4th grade. So that would be equal to Y. And then finally, total number of 5th graders is 10 more than 3rd and 4th grade. So we could say that 3rd plus 4th, so X plus Y, plus 10 more kiddos, that would be equal to our 5th grade class. Now this is 3 equations. We technically have a system of equations, but if we wanted to solve this, these equations are not in standard form. So let's go ahead and write our final answer in standard form. So X plus Y plus Z equals 50. That one's fine. We can keep that one as is. This second one, X and Y are on opposite sides. Remember, we always want our answer on the right side. We want our variables on the left side. So what I want to do is I'm going to take X, I'm going to move him over to the same side as Y. So that way X and Y are together and 4 is by itself. So I'm going to subtract X. And so to write this in proper order, remember we always write alphabetical order, this would be negative X plus Y equals 4. That would be that second equation rewritten. And then we have the same problem on our third equation. X, Y, and Z are on opposite sides. So we need to get X and Y over here with Z, and we need to get 10 by itself. So I'm going to subtract X and subtract Y. So minus X and minus Y. That way, they cancel on this side. 10 becomes by itself, and then I have all of my variables over here. And so this would be negative X minus Y plus Z is equal to 10. So this is the final answer that we want, because again, we want this system of equations to be in standard form, because even though we don't ask you on this question to solve using matrix, you need to be able to have that step in the right direction. So this is how we want the final answer. And that is going to conclude this review. If y'all have any questions or concerns, please reach out to your respective teacher. Otherwise, have a fantastic day.